the version of you you've been hiding and why it's killing you. The most exhausting person you know is you. Not the version everyone sees, the one you're performing as right now scrolling through this video. I'm talking about the real you. The one you've been hiding for so long that you've almost convinced yourself they don't exist anymore. And that performance, it's costing you everything. I spent years watching high-functioning people fall apart in my office, not because they were broken, but because they were exhausted from pretending. And here's what nobody talks about. I was doing the exact same thing. Walking into that office every day performing the person who has it together, while my real self was screaming for air. So if you've ever felt like you're living behind glass, visible but unreachable, successful but empty, I need you to know, I see you. And more importantly, I'm about to show you why you're doing this and how it's systematically destroying the life you actually want. Let me tell you about something psychologists call self-concept fragmentation. But here's what it actually means in your life. Your brain creates different versions of you as a survival mechanism. There's work you, family you, social you, online you. And here's the kicker. Your brain genuinely believes this is protecting you. Because at some point, probably in childhood, you learned that certain parts of you weren't safe to show. Maybe you were told you were too sensitive. Maybe your excitement was met with indifference. Maybe your anger was punished. So your brain did something brilliant and devastating. It created a safe version of you to show the world, and it locked the real version away. Let me give you a specific example. Jake, 38, senior marketing director. By all external measures, crushing it. 6-figure salary, respected in his field, married, 2 kids. But in our third session, he said something that broke my heart. He said, I feel like I'm watching my life happen to someone else. Here's what was happening. Jake grew up in a household where emotions were weakness. So he learned to be the logical one, the strategic thinker, the problem solver. And that version, it got him success, promotions, respect. But the version of him that wanted to write poetry, that cried at movies, that needed to be vulnerable, that version was locked in a basement somewhere, slowly suffocating. And here's the specific cost. His wife told him she felt like she was married to a friendly roommate. His kids described him as always busy, and he was having panic attacks in his car before going into the office every morning, his body literally revolting against the performance. When you hide yourself long enough, 3 things happen. First, you develop what I call success depression, where you achieve everything you thought you wanted and feel nothing. Because the version of you that's achieving isn't the version that actually wants those things. Second, your relationships become transactional. People love the performance, not you. And deep down, you know it. That's why you feel lonely in a crowded room. That's why compliments feel hollow. And third, and this is the one that gets people, you start to forget who you actually are. You've been performing so long that you can't find the original anymore. You don't know what you actually like, what you actually feel, what you actually want. Here's how the psychology works. When you hide yourself, your brain interprets this as the real me is unacceptable. So it activates your threat response system, the same one that would fire if you were being chased by a predator, except this predator is your own authenticity. Your nervous system stays in low-grade fight or flight 24/7. That's why you're tired all the time. That's why you're irritable. That's why you can't concentrate. Your body is using massive amounts of energy maintaining this performance, running from yourself. And here's the cruel part. The more successful your performance becomes, the harder it is to stop, because now people expect it. Your identity is built around it. Your income depends on it. You're trapped in a prison you built yourself. So here's what you do starting today. Step 1, the confession audit. Tonight, write down one true thing you've never said out loud, not to anyone. It doesn't have to be big. It might be, I don't actually like my career, or I'm scared all the time, or I don't want the life I'm building. Just write it. This breaks the seal. Step 2. The 5-minute truth window. Choose one person you trust. Could be a partner, friend, therapist. Tell them, I'm going to try something. For 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you who I actually am, not who I think I should be. Then do it. Messy, imperfect, raw. 5 minutes. That's your starting point. Step 3. The daily micro-authentic act. Every day, do one thing the real you would do. Play that song, wear that outfit, say that opinion, order that food. Small, consistent, non-negotiable. You're training your nervous system that the real you is safe to exist. Your brain will resist this. It'll tell you you're being selfish, inappropriate, too much. That's not wisdom. That's the warden trying to keep you in your cell. Here's the second thing. You're not actually hiding yourself. You're performing for an audience that doesn't exist. Most people think they're people-pleasing. They think they're adapting to what others want. But here's the truth that's going to sting. You're performing for a phantom audience, an internalized collection of voices from your past that you're still trying to convince. Your critical father who's been dead for 10 years, you're still performing for him. The popular kids who rejected you in 8th grade, still in the audience. That teacher who said you weren't smart enough, front row seat. And the real people in your life right now, they're barely registering because you're not actually responding to them, you're responding to ghosts.
Maria, 42, nonprofit director. Incredible work, changed thousands of lives. But she would wake up at 3 a.m. with her heart racing, convinced she was failing everyone. Here's what we discovered. Her mother had been a perfectionist who never expressed approval. So Maria's brain created an impossible standard. If she could just achieve enough, do enough, be enough, maybe she'd finally get that approval. But here's the specific problem. Her mother passed away 8 years ago. The audience Maria was performing for literally no longer existed, but her nervous system didn't know that. It was still scanning for that approval that would never come. The cost? Maria couldn't accept compliments, couldn't celebrate wins, couldn't rest. She was running a race with no finish line, performing for someone who couldn't even see her anymore. When you're performing for phantoms, you make decisions based on what you think people expect, not what they actually need or want. So your relationships are built on assumptions, not reality. You're constantly monitoring yourself. Am I doing this right? Do they approve? Am I enough? Which means you're never actually present. You're watching yourself perform instead of living. And here's the devastating part. You achieve everything the phantoms wanted, and it still feels empty. Because you can't get validation from ghosts. You're seeking approval from people who either don't exist or don't care in the way you think they do. Neuroscience shows us something fascinating. Your brain has what's called an internal working model, basically a mental map of how relationships work, created in childhood. If your early relationships required you to be a certain way to receive love, to be quiet or successful or funny or agreeable, your brain encoded that as love is conditional. I must perform to be accepted. Now, decades later, your brain is still running that program. It genuinely believes that if you stop performing, you'll be rejected, abandoned, unloved. So it keeps you on stage, exhausted, performing for an audience that isn't even watching the show you think they are. The real people in your life, most of them are waiting for you to stop performing so they can actually know you. Here's how you break free. Step 1. Name the phantoms. Write down whose approval you're still chasing. Be specific. My father, my ex, the version of me I was in college. These are your phantom audience. Look at that list and ask, are these people even in my life? Do their opinions reflect who I am now? Step 2. The reality check protocol. Next time you're anxious about someone's opinion, ask yourself, am I responding to what this person actually said or to what my phantom audience would say? 90% of the time, you'll realize you're fighting with a ghost. Step 3. The direct ask. This is scary but transformative. Ask someone close to you, what do you actually need from me in this relationship? Not what you think they need, what they actually need. You'll be shocked how different it is from what you've been performing. The people who actually love you, they don't need your performance, they need your presence. Here's the third truth, and this one might hurt. The more competent you become at hiding yourself, the more impossible it becomes to stop. You've gotten so good at reading rooms, managing perceptions, giving people what they want, that it's become automatic. You don't even realize you're doing it anymore. It's like breathing. But here's what nobody tells you. Every skill you develop in hiding yourself is a skill you don't develop in being yourself. You've become a master performer and a stranger to your own life. And the really cruel part? People reward you for it. They promote you, praise you, love your low-maintenance nature. You're succeeding at the thing that's killing you. David, 51, successful entrepreneur, built 3 companies. Everyone called him unflappable, the guy who could handle anything. Here's what that actually meant. David had no idea how he felt about anything. You could ask him, "Are you happy?" And he'd stare at you like you were speaking another language. Not because he wasn't happy, because he genuinely couldn't access that information. He'd spent 30 years becoming so good at managing everyone else's emotions, solving everyone else's problems, being what everyone else needed, that his internal experience was like a foreign country he'd never visited. The breaking point? His daughter, graduating college, said, "Dad, I don't actually know you. I know you're there for me, but I don't know who you are." That's the cost of competent hiding. You become successful, reliable, respected, and completely unknown, even to yourself. When your hiding becomes a skill, you lose the ability to know what you want. Every decision becomes a calculation of what others need, what makes sense logically, what's right. But what you actually desire? Missing. Your body starts speaking for you. Mysterious illnesses, chronic pain, exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix, depression that medication doesn't touch, because your body is the only part of you that can't perform. It's trying to tell you the truth your mind won't speak. And relationships become performances all the way down. Nobody fights with you because you never show anything worth fighting about. Nobody truly connects with you because there's nothing real to connect with. Here's what's happening psychologically. You've developed what's called acquired emotional suppression. You've literally trained your brain to cut off access to your authentic responses before you're consciously aware of them. It's like having a security system that's too good. It's keeping out the burglars, sure, but it's also keeping out everyone else, including you. Your prefrontal cortex, the thinking, planning part of your brain, has learned to override your limbic system, the feeling, wanting, authentic part of you. And it does this so fast, so automatically, that the real response never even reaches consciousness. You're not just hiding yourself from others, you're hiding yourself from yourself. Breaking this pattern requires something counterintuitive. Step 1, the incompetence practice. Do something you're bad at, on purpose. Take that art class where you'll suck. Try that dance. Sing badly. The goal isn't to get good, it's to practice being visibly imperfect. You're deprogramming the "I must always have it together" software. Step 2, the body scan check-in. 3 times a day, stop and ask your body, what do you actually feel right now? Not what you should feel. What your chest, stomach, throat actually feel. Tight? Warm? Heavy? That's data. That's the real you trying to speak. Step 3, the deliberate disappointment. This is advanced. Practice disappointing someone. Say no to something you'd normally say yes to, not to be cruel, to practice that the relationship can survive you being real. Most of your relationships are stronger than you think they are, but you'll never know until you test them. Here's what I need you to understand. The version of you that you're hiding, that's not a backup self. That's not plan B. That's the self. That's the only version that gets to be genuinely happy, genuinely connected, genuinely alive. Remember how we started? The most exhausting person you know is you, the performed version of you. But here's what I didn't tell you then. The real version of you, the one that you've been hiding, isn't broken, isn't too much, isn't unacceptable. That version is the only one capable of building the life you actually want, not the life you think you should want. Every day you spend performing is a day you don't get back. And the tragic irony? The people who would actually love the real you never get the chance. They're stuck loving a performance, waiting for a person who never shows up. So here's your choice, and it is a choice. You can keep perfecting the performance, keep hiding, keep exhausting yourself maintaining this elaborate illusion. It's safe, it's familiar, it's killing you slowly. Or you can just start, letting people see you. Messy, imperfect, real. It'll be uncomfortable. Your brain will scream at you, and it might be the first time you've been truly alive in years. The version of you that you're hiding, it's time to let them out. Not tomorrow, not when you're ready. You'll never be ready. Today. I'll see you in the next one, where we're going to talk about why the relationships you think are perfect might actually be slowly suffocating you both. You won't want to miss it.